And now, Austin's limpid Perry Logan and the Obamacare Wars band play Obamacare, I Don't Care.
Obamacare, I don't care.
Obamacare, I don't care. Now you! As we pass through mouth after mouth, we realize we're going into another ecstatically wonderful Perry Logan show. This one called the Obamacare Wars. Wars! Oh boy! Yes, it's September 26th, 2013, and America finds itself embroiled in the Obamacare Wars. The Obamacare Wars! Oh boy! These are not real wars, you understand, but silly little political squabbles the Democrats and Republicans are having. September 26, 2013, decades after Ronald Reagan first declared government to be the problem, we have a government that's not worth a tinker's dam. Coincidence? One wonders. The polls make it clear the American citizens have a lower opinion of government than ever before. And why not? Our leaders, both Democratic and Republican, have more than delivered on the promise of rotten government. There's a problem with the belief that government is rotten. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, Perry. What? I said the proposition that government is rotten is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Only a dummy would vote for someone who thinks government is rotten. No, this is important. You might totally want to take a note or text this. Go ahead, text it. It's so cool. I became bitter about people who text. Just text it. In Perry Logan's opinion, the Obamacare Wars, the battle, in other words, about the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, is what this show's about. Pay attention. Well, here's my first note for you, okay? This will be on the final. And that is that Obamacare is something that most people don't give a damn about. At the risk of like deflating a balloon or two, deflating the Obot balloon, my pleasure, deflating the Tea Party balloon, oh, why bother, right? To deflate the always hugely inflated Obot balloon. This is just my theory, is that most people don't give a fig about Obamacare. It's like, have you ever tried to get away from a Democrat who's trying, like a Democrat grabs you by the arm, right, and holds you with his glittering eye and says, "Look!" A Democrat seizing the arm of one of the guests at a wedding party. "Listen to me. You gotta go with Obamacare. It's just so exciting. It's like listening to some bloody accountant talk for 3 hours, or an insurance agent, or it's just like, hey, could I just point out that for a bad law, Obamacare is pretty damn boring? So who cares about Obamacare? Well, mostly two creepy, lovely tribes. The Obots and the Tea Partiers. The Obots and the Tea Partiers, they were rugged mountain boys. The Obots are the Tea Partiers. They were rugged mountain boys. And they care about Obamacare, don't they? The Obots will tell you that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and the Tea Parties will tell you it's socialism. And I think we can all agree no one believes a word these two tribes of fascists say, right?
Right!
Well, I was looking through the Heritage Foundation trash one day. You heard me. In case you don't know, the original idea of a healthcare mandate was cooked up by the Heritage Foundation back in the 90s, when the Clintons were pushing for healthcare reform. The Heritage Foundation knew a rotten idea when they heard one and quickly trashed the whole concept. And this is why I, President Barack Obama, am looking through the trash. This is all symbolic, you know. This is all symbolic, you know. Thank you, Perry. Yes, I am symbolically looking through the trash of the Heritage Foundation, which I must admit really does produce more than its share of trash. Trash! I'll tell you about trash! Did you know that in all the reams and reams of right-wing stuff the Heritage Foundation has churned out over the years? Kind of a daunting concept. All of it has proven, all of it, every single word, every article, all of that crap has proven that the right have been right about everything since the beginning of time. The right, they're on drugs, don't you know? They've got to be on drugs. Don't you think the right are on drugs? No? Every time you hear someone from the Heritage Foundation, realize these people are paid to prove the right are right. The Heritage Foundation are paid to cook the stats and write academic-looking articles that prove the right are right. This is what the right is smoking, okay? This is what the right is smoking. Now back to the show, I think. As we find ourselves once again going down a tunnel of mouths, we realize, is it possible that the whole Obamacare thing, the whole ACA thing, came about because the Democrats were sniffing through the Heritage Foundation's trash? Let's ask a man from the future. Hi. I'm the man from the future. I don't know why you asked me that. Oh, well, it's common knowledge, don't you know, that the Democrats, somewhere along, like in the early 21st century, the Democrats were so whooped. Don't know why. The Democrats were so damn whooped. So, you know, like so beaten before they even started. Beaten before they even tried. Well, the Democrats in those days, can't remember who was president, they were so damn whopped, so damn woosy, so damn wimpy, so, as I say, beaten before they started, that they wouldn't even put out any progressive ideas, any cool ideas. They wouldn't even put them out, you know, because the Republicans would start criticizing them. The Republicans would use harsh language. I am just a guy from the future, pulling your legs. You people have no idea what you're in store for. No, listen, I'm the man from the future. They make us wear these. These are like monitor things. These are like NSA uses these to monitor us here in the future. Okay, but as a person from the future, I wanted you to know that the Obamacare Wars, you know, they're all just frivolous silliness, you know. Democrats and Republicans back in your day fighting about Obamacare. Most people knowing they're not going to get rid of it. Most people knowing it's a sucky law. Most people knowing it's just really kind of boring. It's easily the most boring bad law in U.S. history. I mean, the NDAA is a sucky law, but you know, it has some interesting stuff in there. The NDAA is a real law. It's like already been renewed. signed cheerfully by Obama, and it has some pretty sexy things in it, i.e. they can take you away. They can take you away. Hey, if you want to get into politics, get into repealing the NDAA. Okay, just a thought. Now, Obamacare, I would not say as bad as the NDAA if you want to go after a sucky law. We've got plenty of really sucky laws, but you see, the Obamacare suffers from being just a little dull, okay? Talk about Obamacare for 5 minutes and you'll be asleep. Unless you're like an accountant, and I love accountants. Accountants are cute and sexy. But, you know, they can talk about things the rest of us can't. That's one of the weird things about Obamacare. So there's a big war going on, and the war is being fought in terms of Republican versions of how it's going to be a disaster, and the Democrats' version of how it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I don't think we can believe either of these two parties. Now, hey, I'm a guy from the future, and even though I'm going to be monitored, I just wanted you to know that the reality is, yes, Obamacare continues and it doesn't implode, but it's not like regarded as the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's regarded as what it is, essentially health insurance companies. Remember them? It's not really about the government. It's all about health insurance companies. And I don't know about you, but we of the future, we've had health insurance companies. Lovely people, I'm sure, but as companies, they suck. I would say health insurance is the crappiest product known to capitalism, a system known for its crappy products. Yes?
Yes! I, Thomas Jefferson, warned you about the rampant power of the corporations taking over your country. You chose not to listen to me. The fact that you people of the 21st century march to the drum of the corporations disgusts me no end. You haven't seized control of your guns when everyone knows it is the job of any civilized government to get control of its guns. That's why the rest of the world looks upon America and weeps at its utterly incompetent government and its kowtowing to the power of the mighty corporations. It is for this reason that me and the other founding fathers are waiting here in the afterlife to kick your butts. And that's a promise! Now back to Barry!
So here we are in the future. I don't know, I forget how far ahead of you I am. Let's say I'm 10 years ahead. And yeah, there's still Obamacare, and it's just as deficient as it always was. And you see, at the heart of it are these, we love them all, insurance companies, health insurance companies with their crappy product. You see, you don't have to be an economist to understand that health insurance is a bad idea because the companies make money in as much as they don't deliver the goods. Right? You know this has always been the case. In other words, it was like, who the hell's idea was it to have health insurance companies standing between us and the health givers?
Well, I think that was me, Perry.
You tricky dick?
That's right, Perry.
Slippery dick.
That's right, it's me, Perry.
Would you buy a used car from this man?
No, Perry, no, I wouldn't.
Mr. had to resign in disgrace?
Yes, Perry. Anyway, the whole idea of having health insurance companies doing the health insurance thing was my idea. It was a Nixon idea, a bad idea. I think we can all agree the Republican Party went to the dogs with me.
Yes, the Republican Party did go to the dogs after you. Unnamed past president. Yes, I do think it goes back to that guy. The idea of, it was like a totally sucky, stupid, silly, dumb, right-wing concept. Let's have health insurance companies, insure you for health, but you see, they make money by not giving it to you. That's how the whole thing started. They had things like pre-existing conditions, it's like almost everything turns out to be a pre-existing condition, right? And they were doing it so they didn't have to pay off people who were terribly sick but the health insurance wouldn't cover them. Yes, I know. This leads us to Obamacare. And what Obamacare really is, coming from the future, it was a kind of a well-intentioned, probably mostly well-intentioned attempt to regulate these companies that were doing all these terrible things, pre-existing conditions. And finally the government, with Obamacare, among other things, they stepped in and said, you got to stop doing that. You got to cover up for pre-existing conditions. All right, well, this is like, we all agree that's a step in the right direction, but you see, the fundamental flaw remains like a pearl at the bottom of the ocean. This fundamental flaw remains that those folks, really through no fault of theirs, the insurance folks make a profit by not. That's how they make a profit. And of course, they can hardly be blamed for wanting to make a profit. It was never any way to do it. And that's why I'm so bitter about Obamacare. I'm pretty bitter about Obamacare because it just kind of keeps the insurance companies at the heart of the thing. And it was always a terrible sort of, I don't know,
Nixonian idea. Nixonian idea. I like the sound of that.
But as a man posing as a man from the future, I'm giving you my version of what probably will happen with Obamacare. And simply put, it will not be the horrible socialist cave-in that the right predicts in these wars we're having over it. Nor do I think it'll be this thing that everyone will be like, 10 years from now, people are saying, I was for it, it's the greatest thing ever. And you see, for that to happen, capitalists would have to stop acting like capitalists. People would have to suddenly lose the desire to make money, okay? Like I say, as long as we have this system, the person who stands between the victims, the citizens, there's a person standing between the citizen and any doctors and even a Band-Aid. Obamacare doesn't give anyone anything. It doesn't even give you a Band-Aid. It is health insurance reform, not health care insurance. So standing between you, as always, as before, is a health insurance agent who earns his or her living. It's like, you can't get too down on them. They earn their living by not giving you coverage. Doesn't, hardly even matters if they're nice or not, and I can't imagine a nice person would last too long in it. I don't know what to say. So in my opinion, as the guy from the future, Obamacare is gonna kind of clunk along. And it has deficiencies which are acknowledged by all parties. It doesn't even cover both people. Don't forget, it doesn't deliver you even a bandage, even a dose of mercurochrome. It doesn't even give you a placebo. It gives you health insurance, which is still going to be a crappy product because it's just kind of a bass-backward way of doing things, okay? And so the other thing, of course, is that our thoughts are monitored.
Wow, that was quite an explosion. The righties think that Obamacare will bomb.
But Perry notes the righties are terribly, terribly confused about Obamacare. They think it's some kind of socialist takeover. They really do. As Perry has pointed out time and again, Obamacare keeps the insurance companies at the heart of the process of getting health care. Obamacare is at best a well-intentioned effort to regulate the hell out of the insurance companies. But they still make their money by not providing health insurance, and this will not do well. But Obamacare is far from socialism. Socialist policies work and tend to be very popular. I cite Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security as proof. That's why a single-payer health care system, which is a socialist system, would have been just wonderful. They even tell me a single-payer system would quickly wipe out our deficit.
War! From the disinformation of the Obamacare Wars, Perry sinks into a deep meditation.
Oh no! I enter into a deep meditation to escape the noise and disinformation of the Obamacare Wars, and the first thing I do is find a note all about the Obamacare Wars. Must be another Perry Logan show. Yay! Part of the confusion about the ACA is that the right wing think it's a socialist thing, which is very, very silly. Keep in mind, the right think Obama is a far left progressive or even a socialist. This is quickly disproven by asking any real socialist. They're really very nice. Whether Obama is a socialist or Obamacare is a socialist law, and this person will, I'm sure, set you straight. Toot sweet. Between the lefties and the righties, mostly the Obots and the Tea Partiers, who are the only ones who really care about Obamacare, you can be sure that most of what you hear is pure disinformation, i.e. the usual corporate caca. Corporate caca. Well, since the Democrats picked the original idea for Obamacare out of the Heritage Foundation's trash, and since it leaves health insurance companies in control, Perry is sure that it won't work very well. It won't implode. It's not socialist. It is, in fact, a very conservative idea. Witness the fact that Mitt Romney, a conservative, created the prototype for Obamacare with his Romneycare in Massachusetts. It is, by the way, the most expensive healthcare system in the country, i.e. in the world. I guess that's why they call me Dog on the Roof, huh?
Bad, Mitt Romney, bad!
Nice doggy, nice doggy. As Mitt Romney fled from the wrath of the indignant dog, Perry fled, trying once again to escape the flood of disinformation about what will probably be a mediocre, not very popular law that will go on forever like a really bad headache. Perry took one of his famous walks. He went to Paris. He went to Tokyo. He went to the Taj Mahal, to Saigon, Ypsilanti, Michigan, the place of Perry Logan's birth, on July 25th, 1948. Go birth! Go birth! He walked through the Tunnel of Mouths. I really don't know why. He went to Paris again. He went to the moon. He went to Mars. He went to Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. No! And once again we find that Perry Logan is plunging down Uranus. I'm sorry, the man just can't help himself, and he does have his needs. Oh, Jim, yeah, Tim, looks like we're going down Uranus again. Well, you know, Perry just likes that joke. But I think Perry's right, Tim. How so, Jim? Well, Obamacare will be around, but it won't be very popular. It'll be just this inadequate, expensive thing that we have to put up with, just as those health insurance policies have always been. Yes, I've had those policies. Okay, and with respect, I've been on jobs and had these policies, and you know, I know Obamacare tries to fix all this, but they wouldn't pay anything. It would hardly pay anything, and everybody knew it, and nobody felt good about it. Okay, and yes, I understand that Obamacare is a huge effort to like totally regulate these weird companies. And to get them to do things that are not in their own interest. You see the problem there? Yep. You don't have to be a political scientist to see there might be a problem with that. So if I were to look to the future, I would say neither side is right in the Obamacare wars. One side's saying it's going to be great, you know, people, it's going to be great. And the righties, it's going to be like a socialist awful thing. And no, I think it's just going to be a little bit like just a constant pain, okay? It's going to be just about like those health insurance policies were. The ones I remember from jobs I've had. Until capitalists lose interest in making money. Okay, which is, I don't think it would be fair to ask them not to be what they are. But until they change their nature, this thing is not going to work too well. But what scares me a little is that the political right and the media, they will probably depict it. They will probably succeed in depicting the ACA as a progressive policy or even a socialist policy. And it's not going to do that well. You see, I don't think it'll be a disaster. Yeah, in comparison with single payer, though, but I am just so bitter about single payer. I've even written a song about it called "I'm Just So Bitter About Single Payer."